On this week's episode, it's another edition of All Things Property, and I'm joined by regular guest and chairman of the Leisure Launch Group, David Patricio. This week's topic, what is the key in hand process? For those of you listening, head over to our YouTube channel to watch some of this episode. And for those of you watching, click down below and subscribe. And for the full podcast episode, head over to Spotify, Google, Stitcher, or Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, over to my conversation with David. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. And I'm joined by an old favorite regular guest and chairman of the Leisure Launch Group, David. Hi, David. Thanks for being on the podcast again.
Hi, Dylan. Nice to be back again.
For the listeners who don't know what that is, just give us a brief breakdown of what a key in hand process is.
Key in hand is a terminology that's used here in Portugal a lot. Chave na mão is the term that the Portuguese use. The equivalent is a turnkey solution. The Americans will often hear it in the US. They often talk about a turnkey solution. What it means in the construction context is that you negotiate a price with the contractor, and then the contractor assumes all risk. What are the benefits of this is that there are no surprises. The incentive is always for the contractor to deliver on time, quickly, because time costs money. And most importantly for the buyer, it just means that you know exactly what your house is going to cost. No surprises.
Okay. I mean, we spoke about the challenges involved in building a house in Portugal, and we covered that last time. But how does this help with some of those challenges? If you want to just reiterate some of those challenges that we spoke about and how this helps with those.
Well, the challenges in construction are worldwide, so it's not unique to Portugal. There's things that people who get involved in construction or building their own homes don't take into account, which are out of the control of a contractor who you contract by the hour, let's say, for argument's sake. Things that he can't control. There are surprises in the land that he can never anticipate. Sometimes you need to start the construction to know what problems you're going to encounter. They could be got to do with some subsoil, rock, things like this. There's also the challenge that the contractors have is that people will change their minds constantly. And I know people who have built their houses will say, it was a small change. In construction, there's no such thing as a small change. Architects love to draw an extra line. Oh, let's just put a line here and mean an extra wall. From a contractor's point of view, this can mean days of work. Moving a simple wall, a counter, moving a kitchen counter from the left to the right. These things can mean days of work. What I do find coming away from these constructions where you don't have a key in hand scenario is that both parties to the transaction come away unhappy. With a key in hand or the turnkey solution, the price is fixed. So the best is always to look for a contractor who specializes in key in hand. And they will then, based on the fact that you are not making alterations, there is some flexibility always, but that the flexibility is limited, that the variables are limited, a contractor would be prepared to take a risk. And the more professional contractors will take the risk away from you and give you a key in hand price, which is a fixed price.
Let's talk about the different steps in a turnkey process and how this this process pertains to the different steps. So, obviously, the first step will always be the client acquires the plot of land. Okay.
Yeah.
How important is this part?
Yeah, let me just say this: there are different contractors will work on different bases, but let me just speak for ourselves. In most cases, the two transactions are separate. You acquire a plot of land, you get an architect to design a house for you. You then take that design and you give it to a contractor, and then he will quote you a price. So I don't know how many times I've come across architects who clients have naively contracted them as project managers, paying the percentage over the cost of the property. And when the property has an overrun at the end of the day, the reply is always the same. Oh, but I'm actually an architect. I mean, what's that program? Grand Designs has got a gazillion of architects who thought that they could be project managers, but I mean, the skill set is a completely different one.
Moving along, okay, so land is there; it's all very clear what can be done. The installations are all done. The next part there's a very clear contract for construction, which manages the costs in all of this.
Absolutely. So what essentially happens in a turnkey solution or in a keen-hand solution is that the contractor assumes the risks. Especially in the last 2 years, it can happen that the contractor will reach the end of the contract and have lost money. Let me give you a very simple example. Properties that were built in the last 2 years, we've had the fallout from COVID. We've had wars here in Europe. We've had the Ukrainian war. We've had recession. We've had all of these things. We've had inflation. All of these costs have been absorbed by the contractor. They've had to absorb the cost of labor going up. They've had to absorb all of these costs in that contract, which often the buyer doesn't appreciate until he goes onto the market to sell his house. And he realizes, oh my word, my house is worth £100,000 more than when I actually contracted it.
And the next thing, and this is for me, the key, one of the huge parts, because as you know, I've been here for almost 15 years. The Leisure Launch Group is the only group that offers a project manager to the clients. The project manager knits all the stuff together on behalf of the client while they're sitting wherever they are in the world. Just explain the project manager's role and why this is so important.
Once you've committed to buying the property or the entire project, let's say land and construction, you get allocated a project manager. Who am I thinking of? I'm just certain names that I can remember off the top of my head. You've got Tanya, you've got Denise. A lot of clients that probably watching this video deal with them every day. Tanya and Denise have between them hundreds of properties delivered. So this is a level of experience that is very unlikely, certainly in Portugal, that you will meet an engineer or an architect with their level of experience. They are dealing with contractors all day long, every day, but at the same time, they're dealing with clients and client expectations and managing those expectations every day. That person is there to be your contact, with the contractor, to be your contact with the technical team who take care of your certifications and licensing. She will be, or he will be, in that case, they will be the people that will be talking to these people every day. You don't need to do this. They take care of it while you relax and enjoy your life, and they'll be doing that. And then once your property is ready to be occupied or delivered by the contractor, they will be the ones that do the snagging. They will be the ones that will prepare all the documentation. If you choose to rent your property, your project manager will be the one that will have all of that information, all of that certification, all of the licensing documentation to hand over to the team that will do the project management and renting afterwards.
Yeah, well, that was going to be segueing to the next thing, was the licensing, the actual habitation license of the property is also taken care of in this turnkey process.
All of that is done. All of that is done. That is all done. In the leisure launch model, that is all done. This is not a key in hand function. Normally, contractors don't get involved in this. Their function is to build the house. These things are taken care of by an outside architect, or well, actually not an architect, more an engineer. In the leisure launch scenario, none of this happens. We take care of everything. Our client is sitting in the US or sitting in the UK or sitting somewhere on the other side of the planet.
We can do a very quick way of answering this question. Just nod your head or shake your head. There's nobody that's providing all of these services in the market today.
No, not in Portugal. Listen, to be fair on any company, this is quite an expensive exercise to do. It's very labor intensive thing, and you need really qualified people to be able to offer the service. So most companies would, for obvious reasons, shy away from doing this. We've done this for the last nearly 20 years, so we are quite comfortable with it.
And what we want from all of this is for people just to come. That part's all taken care of, and they can just enjoy the simple life in Portugal.
Just enjoy good, great life. Which reminds me, I'm going for lunch.
So I'm going to let you call it.
It's a wrap.
So thank you once again to David, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.